Ataku had waited 10 years for a child, enduring mockery and insults from her mother-in-law, Mama Chiki, who constantly called her barren. When Ataku finally gave birth to her son, Jeel, her joy knew no bounds. He was her miracle, her everything. She vowed to protect and love him at all costs. On their return from the hospital, Ataku gathered her domestic staff and gave them strict instructions. "This is my warning," she said firmly. "Be very careful with Jeel. Don't scold him or touch him if he misbehaves. I will raise him my way." Anyone who mishandled Jeel's belongings was immediately fired. Ataku's deep love for her son puzzled many, including her husband, Chijioke, Chi. As Jeel grew older, he became very attached to his mother. While other children played together, Jeel stayed by Ataku's side, holding on to her clothes and demanding her attention. If Ataku shared a moment of laughter with Chi, Jeel would throw tantrums, stomping his feet and screaming for her attention. Chi often scolded Jeel for this behavior, but Ataku always defended him. "He's just a child showing his love for me," she'd say dismissively. Chi warned her, "A chick that stays too long under its mother's wings will forget to fly." But Ataku ignored him, believing she was simply being a loving mother. Her overprotectiveness grew more intense as Jeel got older. One day, while Ataku was fresh out of the shower, Jeel innocently pointed at her body and asked questions. Instead of correcting him, she allowed him to play with her body, brushing it off as harmless curiosity. Soon, their bond deepened to an unsettling level. They started bathing together daily, and Ataku saw no harm in this, thinking Jeel was still too young to understand right from wrong. But when Ataku's mother visited and noticed the unusual closeness, she confronted her daughter. "What you're doing is dangerous," her mother warned. "Stop it before it's too late." Ataku laughed it off, believing her son was just being sweet. But by the time Jeel turned 15, his innocent attachment had turned into something disturbing. Jeel became bold, aggressive, and territorial about his mother. At school, he disrespected male teachers and fought them. At home, he refused to let anyone get too close to Ataku, including his father. Once, when a neighbor casually complimented Ataku, Jeel violently shoved the man against the wall, shouting, "Don't talk to her like that." Chi was furious. "This boy isn't acting like my son anymore," he yelled. "He's acting like a man fighting for his wife." Ataku still dismissed it. "He's just protective of me." "It's not that serious," she said. But Jeel's behavior grew worse. He started bringing flowers to Ataku, calling her my queen and clinging to her more tightly. Chi tried to enforce stricter rules, like stopping Jeel from following Ataku everywhere, but Ataku always undermined his efforts, deepening the bond with her son. One day, Ataku found a notebook in Jeel's room filled with obsessive writings. "My queen," one page read. "No one can take her from me. I'll kill my father one day so I can have her all to myself." Ataku was horrified but convinced herself it was just a phase. However, things took a dark turn one evening when Jeel confessed his feelings. "Mama," he said softly, "I love you. Not like a son loves his mother, but more. You're the only woman I've ever loved." Ataku froze in shock. "What are you saying, Jeel?" "I'm your mother." Jeel grabbed her arm. "You're mine, Mama. We're meant to be together." Terrified, Ataku called Chi, who rushed home. When Chi arrived, Jeel attacked him, shouting, "She doesn't need you. She's mine." Chi managed to restrain Jeel while Ataku stood trembling, tears streaming down her face. She realized her blind devotion had created something monstrous. Chi was furious. "This is all your fault, Ataku. I warned you, but you didn't listen." Ataku, filled with guilt and shame, called her mother for help. Mama Chiki suggested taking Jeel to a pastor for deliverance. They visited Pastor Nathan, who declared Jeel was cursed and demanded 500,000 naira for prayers. Ataku paid the money, but Jeel resisted the pastor's prayers, even attacking him. After several failed visits to other pastors, Jeel's behavior worsened. He moved his belongings into Ataku's room, insisting on staying with her. One night, when she tried to explain their relationship was wrong, Jeel angrily said, "If I can't have you, no one will." Ataku was desperate. She thought of sending him to a boarding school but feared his reaction. One night, Jeel tried to force himself on her. Ataku screamed and ran out of the house. Chi, who had just returned home, called the police. Jill was arrested, leaving Ataku to grapple with the consequences of her actions. Her blind love had nurtured something dangerous, and now she faced the painful reality of the harm it had caused. If you'd like to know what happens next, stay tuned for part 2.